What's going on, everyone? This is your boy Tim T Money Holmes. Hope you're doing good today. This is another episode of the Breakdown Block. Today we'll be breaking down Loki Season 2, Episode 2. So the episode starts off with Loki and Mobius time traveling back to the year 1977 on the sacred timeline, which still exists right now. And they're in search of a hunter who has the whereabouts of Sylvie named Hunter X5. And when they get to this 1977 version of London on the sacred timeline, they finally make it to a party that was hosted by the hunter, who in this universe is a famous actor by the name of Brad Wolfe. Mobius and Loki try to question him, but he was not there for it and made a run for it. And of course they chased him throughout all of London. That chase scene was very well shot. Very well shot. Loki finally corners and tricks him with a very lavish street mob illusion. It almost even fooled me as a watcher. And personally, I love how they've been filming these transitions in general in Season 2. Also, after the chase, Loki and Mobius, along with B-15, bring Brad back to a holding room for interrogation, and then they go to find Ouroboros, thinking he might have a solution on what to do with the modified tent pad. And Ouroboros, or Obi, however you want to say that, was hard at work, however, trying to retrofit a way to maintain the overflow of all the timelines. Basically trying to save everybody. And Mobius and Loki approach him with the tent pad and ask for his help. And when they do, he asks, was it more important than the multiverse melting down? And they told him no, to focus on that, of course. And still wanting to be helpful, he did give them a TVA guidebook that he said he wrote himself. Finally, Loki and Mobius get back to the holding cell where Brad is to begin their interrogation on why the tent pad was modified, and also try to find out Sylvie's location, possibly. And beforehand as well, Loki's warned that Brad is a TVA hunter and he's going to be pretty tough to crack because they are made to resist interrogation like no other. So while Loki begins by interrogating Brad first, he begins to pry at Loki of all this past knowledge that he's gathered of him, failing because of the Avengers, the whole New York deal, and blaming Loki even for his mother's death. It was pretty messed up. And it almost works to a point until Loki shows actually some character development and shows some self-restraint. And unlike the past, where Loki would usually lash out with his emotions, he actually showed some character development and had some self-control on this one, and chose to take a breather instead of doing something like his past villainous ways. However, when Brad begins to pry at Mobius, it goes a little differently. Mobius tries to hold his temper back at the things that Brad was saying that were rude but true, but Mobius ends up blowing off his steam by letting him have a good punch to the face. Loki then pulls Mobius back, of course, trying to get him to calm down, and finally does by suggesting heading to the cafe and suggesting some pie, I guess. During this pie break, Loki begins to reminisce, I guess thanks to X5, about him invading New York and how he even threw Tony Stark off a building. And just nonchalantly, casually bringing it up in conversation. I thought that was pretty hilarious, if you ask me. So, of course, after all that, they also develop a plan to go back to X5 and get their answers this time. And it's a heck of a plan, trust me on this one. So what they do is they roll this modified temp pad device into the room to try to intimidate Brad, but he doesn't seem very intimidated by it because he makes them aware they forgot to bring a controller to get it activated. Mobius says he'll be right back and goes to go get the controller for everybody. And soon as Mobius leaves and goes to go get the controller, Loki hurries up and seals the door behind him, leaving it to just be Loki and the Hunter in the room alone. And nobody wants that after the things he was saying about Loki's mom. Trust me. So he ends up pulling it from his pocket and surprising Brad, and begins to play with the time-space altering controls, literally learning how to use the same time tech that Kang himself has been using all this time. And he was scaring and intimidating Brad by putting him what looked like in this time-space prison cube. I guess that's the best way I could explain it to you guys. And there was a point basically where he had to give in or he was going to be crushed to death. So of course Loki ends up getting the location that he wants and finding out where Sylvie is. And they get Sylvie's location. It's the 1982 version this time of the Broxton, Oklahoma town that she went to live a simple life and work at McDonald's. And finally, I guess Loki convinced her enough to go on a short break and be heard out on his situation. So she said give her 5 minutes, and when that 5 minutes came, they went ahead and begun their one-on-one conversation about everything that was going on. Strangely, while this is going on, Brad starts kind of getting a little edgy again and acting up, a little paranoid. So Mobius starts questioning him, why all of a sudden paranoia, and he won't really tell them. And this causes Mobius to interrupt Loki's conversation, along with Sylvie as well, and Sylvie ends up using her mind reading abilities since Brad won't tell anything, and finding out that the rogue agents had their own plan of bombing all the timelines at once. Yeah. Hunter B-15 and the other TVA agents do their best to figure out a plan while this is going on to help. And Sylvie and Loki Mobius use Sylvie's new information as well to make their way to this point where they were all at once bombing these timelines. Yes, all at once. When they make it to this rogue HQ, Loki and Sylvie have to end up combining their abilities again, like they did the last season, to take out the general and the remaining rogue agents and save whatever they could of the timelines. And when they made it back to the TVA, everyone seemed kind of saddened to find out it didn't go quite as well as they hoped it would. And not even having a lot of time for everybody to fully grasp the situation, the TVA agents actually end up pinging Renslayer's location throughout time and finding out where she is. My question is, though, where exactly did they find her? I wonder where exactly they found her at what point in time. I guess we're gonna see on the next episode. So this is another episode of the Breakdown Blog. This has been your boy Tim T Money Holmes, and until next time, to episode 3. See you later.